What's up, everyone? This is Chris, back again alongside my co-host Ty. This is the Pedal Dance Podcast, and we are back again with another Pokemon card set, Top 10. So, Ty, which set are we reviewing today?
We're going over the Gym Heroes set.
That's right. There are two gym sets. This one being the first one, Gym Heroes, and then the second one being Gym Challenge. A lot of people like to put them in the same thing because they're both gym leader sets, but they are two separate sets, so we're going to treat them as such. And without further ado, Ty, I believe you didn't have a honorable mention. We're going to go ahead and just jump right into it. You don't have an honorable mention, do you?
Let's see. I guess I can add some because I kind of feel bad for not having any. I want to say Lieutenant Surge's Spiro and well, no, not that one.
It made no sense.
Yeah, no. But I think that's part of the reason I had to include it. I had a lot of trouble with this particular one because, like I said, I myself did not have a lot of cards from this particular set. However, it wasn't that long ago I was gifted some by a good friend of mine, but this friend of mine didn't live in a smoke-free home. So I went ahead and I broke out my smoke eliminating spray that I decided to go ahead and use on this particular binder just so I could actually flip through it and try to personalize my list a little bit more. So most of the cards on my list are on my list because I now own them. So,
Okay.
and that's kind of how I like it because that way it's more personalized and it's not just me picking through random cards anymore. It's me picking cards that I own. So.
I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, do you want to go over your honorable mentions?
I just said Lieutenant Surge Spira.
Is that the only
I'm
one?
not sure. I mean, I could probably add more, but I'm trying to remember where. Shoot, there was a Misty card.
There's a bunch of Misty cards.
Yeah, but this one was it. Shoot, was it Misty's Wrath? I think. Yeah,
Okay,
I think.
Misty's. Yeah, there was Misty's Wrath. I think she had one more.
But I know there was a Misty Tears, but I can't remember which one was from this set and which one was from the next set. Because
Misty's
those
Wrath.
logos. Okay, yeah, yeah. Then that's the one I want to include.
Okay.
All right. Those logos were really similar looking. The only real difference is one was white, one was black. But the logo, other than that, were identical.
Completely identical.
Yeah.
And as for me, I only have one honorable mention. And my honorable mention is Brock's Rhydon. Brock's Rhydon was the first holographic card I actually got out of this set. Its ability, I mean, as if you have it on your bench, you can. It wasn't really that much of a big deal. If your active Pokemon took damage, it can take one damage counter from that attack and put it onto Brock's Rhydon instead. I mean, that might be a little useful in some very, clutch situations, very specific situations. But other than that, it wasn't that much of a big deal. It was a very situational Pokemon power. And for 2 fighting and 2 colorless, its Lariat attack did 70 damage. But it's on a coin flip. If tails, it does nothing. That ability right there for an attack on a stage 2 is no stage 2 should have that. Not even a stage 1 should really have that. Wait.
Yeah.
I am completely stupid. This is a stage 1. Well, Yeah, a stage 1 shouldn't have that ability. For an attack, the effect of the attack, flip a coin. If tails, it does nothing. That's completely ridiculous. So for those reasons, honestly, that's why it's only in my honorable mentions. It's all right, just not the best.
Yeah, I got you. So,
But now, are we ready to start the top 10?
Yeah, I think we are.
All right, well, my number 10 is Rocket's Snorlax. I like Snorlax as a Pokemon. Say what?
Yeah, I know that was actually one of the cards that I own, so I actually do know what that one does and why you picked it.
Just the picture's kind of goofy. It looks like he just had a really rough night. The attack, 3 colorless, 20 damage, and it falls asleep after doing the damage. But it also does damage, like a counter damage, if it's asleep and it gets attacked, even if it's knocked out, which I thought was a really neat Pokemon power at the time. But
Yeah.
it's not. It's just not the best. And 3 colorless for 20 damage. Maybe if it did 20 more, that would be more acceptable. But that's just a little too low. But that's why it's my number 10.
Okay. So I guess that means it's my turn for my number 10.
Indeed.
And for this particular one, this was also one of the first sets that I've come to realize had its first stadium cards. So, with that being said, my number 10 is the Cerulean City stadium card.
Nice.
And and what it does is, well, if I need to get technical, I probably had to open this thing back up because, like I said, I got them all in a binder. They all came out of the same binder. And okay, I'm in the trainers. Okay, there it is. It's at the bottom. Yeah, it says each player pays 1 colorless energy less to retreat his or her Pokemon if it has Misty in its name. So yeah, that's what the stadium card does. So that means that if you're playing with the Misty deck, it costs you 1 less energy to retreat. So.
And a lot of Pokemon be getting free retreats that way, so that's a really nice card to have, especially for the Misty deck.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly why it made my list, is because I found it to be an extremely good card. And while I have the spotlight, I also might want to add that I thought of another card that I could have added to my honorable mentions, but I don't think it was worthy of it. And that is Sabrina's Porygon. It's a card that I have. I could have added it, but the 40 HP wasn't enough for me to deem it worthy.
I gotcha. Still another one that just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I know, right? But wait till you read what it does, though. Well, anyway, though, I'm gonna have to pass it to you for your number 9.
My number 9 is Misty's Wrath.
Okay.
Look at the top,
We're on the same page.
Look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Choose 2 of those cards and put them into your hand and discard the rest. That is useful.
But the discard is why it's my honorable mention.
I mean, I don't even care if I have to discard if I don't need them. If I get exactly what I need, who cares if I have to discard those other cards?
Yeah, I gotcha. I mean, it can come useful, especially in a pinch, but in the same token,
Well, I mean, it does give you options to choose any 2 that you want. So
yeah, I gotcha.
Just gives you tons of possibilities depending on how you build your deck.
Yeah.
But for that reason, But I did put it lower on the list because of that. Because there might be a card that you want, a third card that you want, but you can only get 2. So I did take that into consideration.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is my
Anyway,
number 9.
yep. So I think that that brings it back to me rather for my number 9. And my number 9 is actually the Celadon City Gems the stadium card. Okay, so now the reason I chose this one is because I found it to be more useful than the Cerulean City. So I ranked it a little higher up. And what it does is during each player's turn, that player may choose to discard an energy card attached to one of his or her Pokemon with Erica in its name. If that player does so, that Pokemon is no longer asleep, confused, paralyzed, or poisoned. Now imagine if you just have some seriously bad luck with getting confused and not being able to come back from it, or being asleep, being paralyzed, or poisoned, or what have you, and there's just no way you can flip a coin to get rid of it. You know, this could very well see to it that your status conditions are no longer a gamble, and you'll be able to bounce back a lot faster from them. The only
And what,
downside is that your opponent can also benefit from the stadium card as well.
right. And also, the fact that it is a stadium means that its effect is permanent unless removed by another stadium. So if you keep on getting status elements, you just keep on healing them.
Exactly.
So that is a great choice.
Yep, I thought so too. So, anyway, though, so that brings us to your number 8.
Indeed. And my number 8 is the Erica Trainer card.
Ah, okay.
The Erica Trainer card's all right. It lets you draw up to 3 cards, but it also allows your opponent to draw up to 3 cards. So it's
Yeah.
not in the world. But the main reason it's my number 8 is because Erica is my favorite gym leader in the Kanto region. She is just too adorable. And I just had to add her because I love Erica.
Yeah, so
Judge all you want, people.
well, I don't blame you. But yeah, as a matter of fact, since it's now my turn to do number 8, Erica is also on that. Is my number 8 on that list as well.
Really?
Yeah, because I was looking for something to fill in the gaps, and it's like, well, I don't really have a lot of cards left unless I want to go back to the trainers. So I went to the trainers, and I found that particular one, and it's like, okay, yeah, this one should definitely make my list, but I think I need to re-rank it a little bit, so I moved some things around, and that's how Erica became my number 8.
Okay. Story time with Ty.
I know, right? So that was very brief, but I guess that puts us at number 7. So what's yours?
My number 7 is Lieutenant Surge's Magneton.
Ah, nice.
Yes. This one is a really good card. I like the I'm so used to saying ability, but back then it's Pokemon power. If it's your active Pokemon, you can move as many times as often as you like per turn before you attack.
Uh-huh.
You can move any energy from your Pokemon on the bench to Lieutenant Surge's Magneton.
All right.
Great, especially if you're trying to build them up quick, fast, and in a hurry, and you already have Pokemon down the bench that have energy, electric energy. You could just, bam, right there, first turn, already have it good to go. And its attack is pretty hefty. It's 3 lightning and a colorless energy, and it does 50 damage.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, but if you got to flip a coin, and if tails, you do 20 to yourself.
Oh yeah, that bites.
Yeah, it's not the worst in the world that I've ever seen, but it's certainly not the best. And out of all the cards on this list, this is the only card on my list that I actually do own.
Okay.
And mine's actually in Japanese, which is just amazing looking.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually looking at a Magton right here in my binder. It's actually from the fossil set, and it's instead of HP, it says PI. So I don't know what language it's in.
Foreign languages.
Yeah, that's for sure. I had to mention it though because I heard Magton, and I'm just sitting here thinking, wait, what? Yeah, because I just happened to see it because I got my binder open since I actually have quick access to these cards. So I can't remember exactly who gave me these cards, but if you're the one who did, thank you so much for at least having them in a binder. I'm wondering if just changing up the sleeves and the binder alone might help get rid of that smell because, like, I
Oh yeah,
swear this thing is something awful.
yeah, that'll definitely
But
help getting rid of the smell.
oh yeah, because I'm sorry, I'm not smoker friendly. I've tried that. Just no, I can't get past that. But anyway, for my number seven is Recall. Okay, what this trainer card does, and the picture's adorable. It's got a little slowpoke on it with like one of those red light bulbs. It's just really cute. But yeah, so what this trainer card does is it says for your attack this turn, your active Pokemon can use any attack from its basic card or any evolution card attached to it. You still have to pay for that attack's energy cost. So
Right.
basically, let's say you have a Sabrina's Gengar out there, but you would rather use an attack from Sabrina's Haunter. Then in that case, you'd be able to do so using this particular trainer card,
Right.
provided you have enough energies to actually use it. So
Exactly. That honestly almost made my honorable mention.
yeah, I mean it's a really quality card, and like I don't see anything wrong with that, especially if there's like a status condition that the stage one could do, but the stage two can't.
Right.
You could benefit from those things. Sometimes you don't really need the attack power of a stage two to finish off your opponent. So, anyway, though, so that brings us at your number seven now, Chris.
Didn't I do my number 7? I thought we were on number 6.
Oh, yeah, six. My bad. Oh, wait. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm used to going first, like from last time.
Focus tie. Focus
I
tie.
got that morning fog. I got the morning fog. Yeah, but yeah, you're right. We're on number six now, and number six starts with you.
Yes.
So
And
my number six.
yeah, yeah, your number 6 is after my number 6. And
Yeah,
my number 6, what?
I got that. I got that.
Okay, just making sure. I'm just trying to be friendly, trying to be nice and helping.
Almost
But
sounds patronizing.
just a little. But my number 6 is no removal gem.
Okay.
This is back during the times when energy removal and super energy removal were still really big in competitive play. And what those do is you discard cards to get rid of your opponent's energy, or they do the same thing to get rid of your energy on your Pokemon. This effect is you have to discard 2 extra cards just to use it. So if they don't have the 2 extra cards, they cannot play either of their cards. And that can be a game changer. The fact
Okay.
that they're not able to get rid of your energy on your Pokemon. That is a big, big card, and I love it. I would run it.
Yeah.
That's just me, though. But to me, that is definitely a worthy card to put in a deck.
Yeah. Oh. Uh, yeah. Okay. So I don't really know what I could add about that. I don't really know much else about the card other than the description, though. But let alone the rest of the cards in the set. But yeah, when a card's useful, it's useful. I mean, there's more good ones out there than there are bad. So, but yeah, So with that being said, though, that brings me to my number 6, and my number 6 is Misty. Okay, so and what Misty does is it says here you discard 2 of the other cards in your hand in order to play this card. If this this turn's attack does damage to the defending Pokemon after applying weakness and resistance, and if the attacking Pokemon has Misty in its name, the attack does 20 more damage to the defending Pokemon. It's really helpful when your move does not have enough damage to deal out to finish your opponent off. So if you're trying to look for a quick victory, that is a good card you could play. It'll get you 20 extra damage, potentially knocking out your opponent and costing you a victory. So that's why I had to put that on my list.
And I don't blame you for putting it on your list because that is a really good card. At least for a Misty deck.
Yep. So, provided you use it in the correct deck, because that's always a given. All right, so with that being said, that puts you at your number 5?
Indeed it does.
All right.
And my number 5 is Blaine's Moltres.
Ooh.
Everybody already knows Moltres is my favorite of the legendary birds. But that's where the good stuff ends.
I'll give you that.
Huh?
I'll give you that.
Okay. Phoenix Flame, the very first attack to ever cost 5 energy. Does 90 damage. Sounds fine, right? Even though it's really not. But you flip a coin. If tails, this card and all cards attached to it are shuffled back into your deck. Do you know how bad that would be if this is your only Pokemon with no Pokemon on the bench and you flip tails? You shuffle yourself into a loss.
Yeah, that bites it. You got some really chatty birds in your background.
Indeed, I do.
Yeah.
Hey, they're just having a friendly, polite conversation. So,
Well, I don't know. It could be a mating call for all I know.
only you would think that.
No, not only me. Anyway.
But yeah, that's the reason it's my number 5. It's my favorite of the legendary birds, but its attack is horrid.
Yeah, I got you. Okay, so with that being said, my number 5 is Erica's Dratini. Okay, why? Well, first off, it does evolve. Okay, but it's still a basic Pokemon. You still need a basic Pokemon, obviously, before you can get your way up to the bigger ones, to the stage 1s and stage 2s. But before getting into that, let's go over what the Poke Power does here. It's called Strange Barrier, and the description reads: whenever an attack by a basic Pokemon, including your own, does 20 damage or more to Erica's Dratini after applying weakness and resistance, reduce that damage to 10. Any other effects of that attack still happens. This power stops working while Erica's Dratini is asleep, confused, or paralyzed.
As all
Okay,
Pokemon back then.
Yeah, so what that does is that pretty much means that whoever's attacking you, if you only got 4 attacks basically before your Dratini is guaranteed to be knocked out unless you get confused or what have you, then you're bound to die quicker. Or sleep or paralyzed rather, because that's also going to null and void the Poke Power. But regardless, it's a good way to stay alive, provided you don't get status conditions, guaranteeing that you will need 4 hits before your Dratini's knocked out, and it'll keep it alive a little bit longer until you can get that Dragonair or Dragonite. Assuming that exists in this set. I haven't really went over the other cards in this set.
Erica's Dragonair does exist. Erica's Dragonite does not. It is not a card.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, wasn't 100% sure about that. Like I said, tried to keep it as my personal list, and
I
that made noise, so I think everybody heard that. Uh, anyway, so as for the attack itself, it does Tail Strike. It requires 2 colorless energies. It says flip a coin. If heads, this attack does 10 damage plus 20 more damage. If tails, this attack does 10 damage. So regardless, you still do damage. Whether or not you do 10 or 30 is a whole different story. But you do damage. So that alone also makes it a decent basic Pokemon card, and that's why it is my number 5. Okay, so now, Chris, yours is now at number 4.
Indeed. And my number 4 is Sabrina's Gaze. Not much to this card. Just both players shuffle their hands into their deck and draw the same number of cards. You're just giving yourself a reset on a hand. And especially nowadays, that's very useful. It was very useful back then. So it deserves to be higher up. And so I think the number 4 spot is a good place to put it. It's just a really good way to reset.
Okay. Now, my number 4 is actually a card that you've already mentioned, actually. And that one is Rocket Snorlax.
Nice.
Yeah, its ability really helps with its attack as far as it being one of those sleepy types of Pokemon. But the reason why it's not near the top is because it only does 20 damage with its 3 colorless energy attack Collapse. However, it also can do 20 damage more due to its power, so it's capable of knocking out regular basic Pokemon. But if you got something that might be a little tougher, or if you got something like Erica's Dratini, it might be a little harder for you to really deal out some damage using this card. So it's not perfect, but it is still really, really quality worth as far as that goes.
I agree. Otherwise, I wouldn't have put it on my list.
And I just remembered another one of my honorable mentions should have been Erica's Clefairy. So.
Flip another one that doesn't make any flipping sense.
Well, I mean, it's not too terrible. I mean, its moonwatching ability can help you get energy cards if you need it, but that's basically the only reason it would have been on my honorable mention. It just happens to be on the page across from Rocket Snorlax, and I just happen to pay attention to that right now.
I got you. I'm just talking about the fact that Clefairy had Erica had a Clefairy. Just doesn't make sense.
Actually, I think it makes a lot of sense, but that's just me.
You don't make a lot of sense.
Well, and honestly, in most people's opinions, I never really did. But that's their loss. Anyway.
Agree? I agree completely.
Okay. So, with that being said, you're number 3. Yep.
My number 3 is the Rocket's Trap.
Okay.
This card is amazing. Okay. Assume you get past the first part, which is a coin flip.
Yeah.
If heads, choose up to 3 cards at random from your opponent's hand and shuffle those cards back into their deck. Okay, let's just think for a minute. Let's just say you flip a coin and you get heads. Let's just say they flip a coin. Let's just say you get heads and they only have 3 cards in their hand. You choose all 3 of them. They shuffle it back in their hand, and next turn they only start with 1 card. That is so good. That can really mess up your opponent. I'm sorry, that's just it. It's just that good, just alone on that description.
Yeah.
Especially if they have something that they need in their hand.
I always think of cards that can be used against you too, but anyway. Uh, Either way, though, yeah, provided you're the one playing the card, it's always very beneficial. And I am back at one of those situations where I flip the pages to my next card on my list, and now I'm seeing Lieutenant Surge's Eradicate. That probably should have also made my honorable mentions.
Let's just change
And
mentions to any Pokemon that just doesn't belong with the gym leader.
no. The reason why I have to kind of put this one on honorable mentions, and I don't know how I can completely forget about this card. That shows you how alert I was last night when I was making my list. But now Lieutenant Surge, his Eradicate. Basically, what it does is it's Super Fang. The attack is question mark, but the description reads, does damage to the defending Pokemon equals half the defending Pokemon's remaining HP, rounded up to the nearest tenth. So basically, it's basically like a false swipe. You just keep using it and using it and using it. Eventually, it dies. But it only needs one colorless energy. So, I mean, like, for a 70 HP Pokemon, that's quite something.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's easy. It's a good way to bring down a lot of higher HP Pokemon in just one attack. So that's really good. Let's say you have a Pokemon that has 120 HP, you're knocking it down by half. You're knocking it to 60, which is really good.
But it does have a one colorless energy retreat, so that's not too terrible at all. Anyway, though, so going back on topic to my number 3.
Finally.
Putting everybody in suspense now at this point. Okay, so my number 3 is actually Sabrina's Haunter. Okay, so it's got 50 HP. It requires 2 psychic energies, and its attack says Night Spirits. Flip a number of coins equal to the total number of Sabrina's Ghastlies, Sabrina's Haunters, and Sabrina's Gengars you have in play. This attack does 30 damage times the number of hits. Okay, so you can have up to, like, what was it? Was it 4 or was it 5 on your bench?
5.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Because, like, there's typically 6 Pokemon in a party, so I never understood why a bench would have any more than that. But yeah, so basically, you'll have 6 of these things up there. It's assuming you're just playing an entirely Sabrina deck, and you have entirely Sabrina Ghastlies, Haunters, and Gengars.
Well, the thing is, you can only have 4 copies of each one.
Oh, you can only have 4 copies of each one in a deck?
Yeah, all cards, even since the very beginning, you can only have up to 4 copies of any one card.
Okay, so that's if you're playing by rules. So okay, but we'll do that one anyway. Okay, so let's say you have 4. You have 4 of them on your deck because you're playing by the rules of the tournaments, and you time that by 30. 40 times 30. Well, I'll tell you right now, that is 120. That is 120 damage that you'd be dealing out. Most cards back in the day did not have more than that amount of HP.
Right. And even on average, you're still hitting 60, which is ridiculous amount back then.
Yes, so that would have been that definitely would have been a game changer, because you would be able to just instantly KO any Pokemon. And I'm not sure what Sabrina's Gengar can do, if it's anything as quality as that. But if you have the Recall Trainer card and you use that attack with Sabrina's Gengar, that's more HP with that same attack, and it's, again, guaranteed knockouts. So either way, I mean, that's a pretty decent deck you could make just using those 2 cards alone. Well, technically you'll need 3, because obviously you need Ghastly, duh. But anyway. All right, so that puts us at your number 2, Chris.
My number 2, by the way, that was a sweet number 3 pick.
Thank you.
My number 2 is Rocket Scyther.
Mm-hmm.
I love this card. I love the artwork. Its big attack, which is Blinding Scythe, is grass, colorless. So 3 energy for 40 damage. But what really sold me was the first attack, which is just for a single grass energy. It's Shadow Images. Whenever Rocket Scyther is attacked, your opponent flips a coin. If they flip tails, you take no
Huh?
damage.
Mm.
And this effect lasts until Rocket Scyther takes damage.
Wow.
So if you do that and they keep flipping tails, you can just go on building them up using Blinding Scythe because they still haven't made them lose the actual shadow images. So
Oh, that's yeah. That's dangerous.
it is, but that's still so worth the risk.
Oh yeah, I know. Just
And
that's
I Scyther. So yeah, that's my number 2.
okay. So, so my number 2 is Sabrina's Mr. Mime. Okay, why did it make my number 2 list when it only does 20 damage with the attack slap and requires 2 energies just to use it? Well, despite the fact that it's got 50 HP and a damage, an attack that only does damage of 20, it does have this unique attack that only requires 1 energy. If you're trying to set up a Sabrina deck, it could be very useful if you're trying to get energies for your Haunter, maybe. But yeah, and the attack is called Sleight of Hand. It says choose up to 3 cards from your hand and put them on the top of your deck. Then search your deck for that many basic energy cards. Show those cards to your opponent, then shuffle them into your hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. So you get 3 energies just like that by using that attack. And whether or not you use it on your Mr. Mime or your Ghastly and Haunter, that's totally up to you. But if you're playing against a Sabrina deck, that could definitely get your Haunter set up real fast. So that's why it's my number 2 spot.
Okay.
Okay.
Not bad at all.
Yeah. So with that being said, we now move on to the moment everyone's been waiting for. Your number 1.
And my number 1, drum roll please.
Okay, let me see. Give me a second here. How's that?
You didn't take band class in school, did you?
Okay, first off, I'm using a ring against the wall. It's not that impressive.
Let me just have a joke, please.
Well, I'm just saying.
All right, whatever.
I gotta,
My
I
number.
gotta, I gotta use my other hand to hold the phone. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I'll let it slide.
Okay.
My number 1 for Gym Heroes is Rocket's Hitmonchan. And there is a few reasons why this is my favorite card out of the set. Personally, Hitmonchan is my favorite of the 3 Hitmon Pokemon. Okay, Magnum Punch does 50 for 2 fighting and a colorless energy. Not worried about that. Cross Counter, its first attack, which only costs 1 fighting energy, is amazing.
So I'm aware.
If it gets hit by an attack, you flip a coin. If heads, it does double the damage that it took last turn. For 1 energy on a basic.
Yep.
So if you get hit with an attack that does 60 damage,
Even if it knocks you out. Yeah.
yes, it will do double that damage for 1 energy.
I should probably also mention that we have the exact same number 1 card.
Are you kidding me?
I kid you not. It's sitting right here in my binder, and it's exactly why I made my list. So just as you're describing it, I'm actually reading it over myself to remind myself of why I chose this as the number 1 spot. And then you just took the words right out of my mouth, basically. Other than the fact that actually out of my favorite out of the Hitmons, well, I've always liked Hitmonchan back in the Kanto region just because it knew things like Ice Punch and Thunder Punch. You could learn those. You couldn't really learn that with Hitmonlee, and I always felt like that was an upper hand, so it was my favorite until Hitmontop was released. Hitmontop, I thought he was just more show-offy, but he just had an overall better design, in my opinion, than the other two. But yeah, if you want to get technical, Hitmonchan is one of my favorites from the Kanto region, so I
Oh,
guess it still counts. Yeah.
but that's just crazy. I mean, yeah, its HP is a little lower than I would like it, but even then,
Yeah.
on a basic Pokemon, and this is back whenever you could still attack on the first turn. You could still use this on your first turn
Nice.
and set it up to where, oh, if they have something, let's say you lose a Pokemon and you're just now bringing this out, one energy, and plus one retreat cost.
Oh yeah. I mean, very
And
decent, and plus it's not an evolution or nothing, so it's like you could just get that thing right out there, because this was before Tyrogue even entered the picture. But Tyrogue in itself is still considered a baby Pokemon, so Hitmonchan, as far as I know, has always been basic.
yes,
Yeah, so and especially and because this is Kanto region, it's especially basic because Tyrogue didn't exist yet,
and
and
in future sets, there are some Hitmonchan cards that are still basic because they didn't print Tyrogue in the set.
yeah, exactly.
But
So I mean,
still, I mean that retreat
there's
cost
a
of
yeah, there's a lot of factors, but yeah.
like, but still that retreat cost of one that doesn't even
Mhm.
mess you up because all you need is just another plain energy just to get that back up and rolling again. It's just so good.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised we have the same number one. That really shocked me. I think that's really cool.
What's funnier is I sent you pictures of all the cards I got in this binder. And I'm more surprised you didn't browse through that at all enough to realize that I had the card.
Well, I saw that you had it. It's just I wasn't sure that you would even put it on your list.
You'd be surprised. But no, like I said, I think a card typically means more to a person when they physically own it. Okay, because you can't bypass that. I mean, there's more value to it that way. Granted, these cards are probably not worth like mint condition status because they didn't come out of a smoke-free home, but in the same token, I'm sure there might be some way to preserve these cards. Because when I got the binder in the first place, I just instantly assumed they were all rescue cards.
I got you. But yeah,
Yeah,
even though I don't own this card, it already made a big impression on me. I love this card and I want it.
yeah,
So I'm probably just going to go on eBay and just actually order it just to have it.
yeah. The one I got's hollow,
Nice.
and
But
again,
say
yeah.
what?
I was gonna say I really thank whoever gave me that binder because I can't remember for the life of me who gave me that binder, but just thank you. If you don't remember who you were, the binder is really tattered, and it's got Ash, Misty, Brock, and Pikachu on the front and back.
Nice.
Yeah, so
But yeah, that actually wraps up our list for today. So for everybody who watches our podcast, thank you for watching this episode. As we say in the ending of every episode, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, tell us how stupid we are, all that fun stuff,
report if we somehow offended you.
which we probably did in more ways than we're probably aware of.
Don't get me wrong though, I do like Hitmonlee. Okay, I'm not gonna hate on Hitmonlee. I do like Hitmonlee. It's just that attack wise, Hitmonchan is just more superior. I mean, it
And
really is when you think about it, because whenever Tyrogue did enter the picture, it had to be higher in attack stat to evolve into Hitmonchan, higher in defense stat to evolve into Hitmonlee, and higher in HP stat on Pokemon Go anyway, or rather equal in attack and defense just to get Hitmontop. So I
yeah,
mean,
him on top and the original silver and gold had to be equal in attack and defense, which was a pain to try to do.
Yeah, in Pokemon Go, it's HP. If the HP is highest, your Tyrogue is going to evolve into a Hitmontop, and that is based on the appraisal that you get from your. But that's if you're a Pokemon Go player. But yeah.
Right.
And anyway, Hitmonchan is just meant to be an offensive Pokemon, and I think that's what makes it better.
And one more thing before we lock off that makes Hitmonchan better. None of its attacks make it take damage if it misses. I'm looking at you,
Oh yeah, the high jump kick. I can't tell you how many times that actually saved me in the actual video game. It's like Hitmonlee used high jump kick. He kept going. He crashed.
It crashed into the wall and took half damage.
I know, right? Like, oh my gosh. It's like, thank you for dodging that. Because reading that's so much funnier.
Good times. Sometimes good times, sometimes bad times. But that is it for us for today. What?
I said depends on what side you're on.
True. But that is it for us for today. Ty, would you like to add anything before we log out?
I do know that the next set, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be our last set that it solemnly takes place for just the Kanto region. It's going to be the second part of the gym set. So, and I do have cards in this binder from that set as well. So I will be trying to make my list more personalized since we are now tearing completely away from the Game Boy Color game. So yeah, that's something I can mention. So.
And one more thing, us doing these top 10s for each set, these are not going to be the only videos we do for the trading card game. We do have other ideas planned. One that I'm personally looking forward to, and I'm pretty sure Ty is as well, that we've been talking about. So just be on the lookout for those in the upcoming future because they might be closer than you might think. But with that being said, it's time for us to head on out. So on behalf of Ty and myself, thank you for watching the Pedal Dance or listening to the Pedal Dance podcast. And we will see you in the next episode.